hello everybody. It's another episode of the Logan Pettis Show. Why do we call it the Logan Pettis Show? I'm Logan Pettis. It's my show. And according to this, we're going live, but I don't believe it because this is a lying son of a buck. I don't know what happens on the Facebook. It locks down and it only wants to make it available to me, but we usually make the fun, unedited version of this show up because I'm lazy and can't be bothered, so I make AI edit this, and it's really funny. If you're into jump cuts, this is the place to be. So it's coming up. Memorial Day, as of recording, will be tomorrow. And actually, tomorrow's going to be a fun day. I get to sit down with the Carolina Teague, and I'm excited and nervous all at the same time. Because she's a hyper important person.
Very.
I love Carolina.
I like the introduction.
We work with Carolina a lot with RCW, but that's tomorrow, and here we are today, and we are talking with my cohort, partner in crime, counterpart, the R2-D2 to my C3PO, Reyna Pink is here.
And the actual aunt of Callie and Tita.
What was it Heather said on the allegedly? Allegedly. It might be true, it might not, we don't know.
No, whatever I say is true, it's gold.
But if it's on the internet, it must be true. So we have an exciting show planned, and by an exciting show planned, I mean we have planned absolutely nothing. We're talking about what we're going to do on our summer vacation. Pink, what do you have planned for your exciting summer vacation here?
Well, we start by sending the children to camp. Send them to camp. Got a ton of houses to clean. We're going to Vegas again, but we're not sure.
For the cauliflower thingy?
Yeah. It's all, well, without getting personal, it all depends on how this week goes because we're going to win in court. That's all we're going to say. You know, when you pay for very expensive attorneys, we're going to win.
Absolutely.
Only the best.
You know, I'm an attorney in certain parts of Texas, namely Laredo.
Oh, yes, where it counts.
I'm only allowed to practice law in Laredo, and that tells you everything you need to know about my law degree and experience. So, what am I going to do on my exciting summer vacation? Well, it seems like I'm forever on vacation, so really does it matter? We got some stuff coming up. Disney, another Disney trip.
Do you go to different sections when you go? Like, oh, we're going to go to Epcot. Oh, we're going to go.
So this is the thing. I have talked about going to Disney for years and years, and the girls never wanted to go because they were always afraid that it was too much of a kid thing, and Megan doesn't do rides and stuff like that. She gets motion sickness real easy.
Wait, no Space Mountain?
Woo! I will ride. In that context, it just makes it ew. But
what's
I will
line,
ride.
Logan? I know. Say the line. Stay the line.
It may be the oldest ride in the park, but it's still got the longest line. No, so a shout out to the nature boy right there. Come on my show, please. No, so she doesn't do rides. So we went last time to Hollywood Studios. I have a whole show about that. Went to Hollywood Studios and we're fine. Everything is okay. We took her on Star Tours. If anybody is familiar with Star Tours, you know what I'm talking about. Anybody that's not, if you remember those things that they used to set up in the mall that was like the shuttlecraft on like the hydraulics, that's what this is. They lock you in this box and C3PO takes you on an adventure.
I would never go anywhere with C3PO.
She had none of that and got motion sickness.
I don't blame her.
And then I had to take her to Muppets 3D to make it work.
Yay! Can I go with her?
Right.
Man.
Yeah, she couldn't wear the glasses or anything. You got to put 3D glasses on and do the thing.
No, I can't. Yeah. I don't like them either. It's weird vision. I don't understand it.
Well, part of it too, it's hot, and you get trapped in this hot box that's moving around, and then you're trying to watch this 3D movie. I don't have a problem with it, but certain people do. She is certain people. So,
do you go to Universal, or you don't go do all that?
We haven't yet. I went to Universal in LA, like I said,
Wait, you're going to Florida or Los Angeles?
We're going to Florida.
Oh, okay.
And so that was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had gone to Disney in 2006 with the New Generation Singers, had a wonderful time. I'm one of those people, though, I have the big imagination, and I'm a giant child, and actually...
No, you
right here. Right here is my official Disney name badge. That will show up backwards right now, but it will be corrected later.
It shows fine on my screen.
But, it's not backwards for you? It's backwards for me. So, and then I've got another one for Galaxy's Edge, which actually got me in trouble.
So I went in 2011 to Universal because we were in Tampa.
Okay.
Wait, no, I'm not sure the city we actually were in, but we drove to Tampa because I went to go work for Lexi Fife. Ever heard of her? Train
That
Lita?
name rings a bell. When you said it, I went bing.
Train
But
Lita? Or she's
oh yeah, yeah,
mentioned
yeah. Okay.
heavily in Lita's book. Well, Lexi started Shine promotion down there, and the name escapes me, which promotion I work for. I'm so sorry, head. But we were down there, and she has the who's who of everybody down there. So you get to work with all kinds of people. At the time, she was helping run Shimmer at the time.
Okay.
So in between tapings, so she had me come down from Texas, and then there was literally everyone from Shimmer at the time. So you had like Madison Eagle, Sarah Del Rey. Let me say it again. Mercedes Martinez, Leva Bates, so many other people that I cannot remember. Oh, yeah, I roomed with Alicia. It was Alicia Mayer. I don't know her. Edwards? She's married to Eddie Edwards on TNA. I had roomed with
Okay.
her, and then, oh, she's my bestie. We did all the tour together, and then she had, let's see, and then, who was also there from Australia at the time? Do you remember someone named Billy Kay? Her name was Jessica McKay. She is so cute. She was there, Courtney Rush, before she became Rosemary. So yeah, it was a fun thing, a fun time. And then so one of the girls worked for Universal. So we all go to Universal at the end of all the tapings and things that we were doing because we were there for a good weekend. It was wild. We went to Universal. And that's when they still had Marvel. On the Dr. Seuss area, we rode the Harry Potter ride, which was the first when it first came out. So that was interesting stuff. It was a good little time. I do have some photos from it. I may have sent them to you before, but
You said 2011, right? That was
2011. I
so
had just
that was
okay. So
post
just
TNA.
here's the thing, just for reference, because I guess it's a little stigma of my locality, and I'm a local. No, I had actually finished working in South Carolina, North Carolina at the time, so for some shows for Derek Flair, Derek Flair, Manny Fernandez, and people up there. We did those shows, and then as soon as I was done with there, I went down to Lexi's, stayed there for a little bit, and then right after that, we went right back out to California. I was constantly just doing this, and then sprinkling a little Mexico, and I was never home. So when you saw me at RCW, I had just made the trip home just so I could come home, get some new clothes, whatever, see my parents, and then get back. That's really what it was. I was always on the go. There was always things to do. Tennessee. I was also in Tennessee at the time. I was on that area. So yeah, and so it just hit me right now because these are things I don't think about. I don't sit here talking about every single thing I did. But they come up and I'm like, oh, that's right. I did all that stuff. That was fun, And that literally, because you brought up that and I asked about Universal, and then it just hit these core memory, and then boom, here it is. So fun times.
Universal was a hotbed for wrestling for a little while there. Actually, Disney, MGM Studios, and Universal had their fair share, and I can unpack that in a future episode. Yeah, so the girls had never been to Disney, and they were like, it's gonna be for kids and this and that. And I'm like, and so finally, I think we got a decent deal or something, and it was like, all right, let's go. Are we gonna like this? And it's like, can you suspend disbelief for, an entire day and play pretend here that you are in this land that,
like the
we all
Roseanne
have grown
episode.
up watching.
Have you ever seen that Roseanne episode where they go to Disney and how
Yes, I've
she's like, I'm gonna
forgotten it,
hate
but
this.
yeah.
Oh my God, it's Pooh Bear.
Yes, and I mean that's what it's like. So yeah, we went to the Magic Kingdom and we went to Epcot the first time, and then it was let's go back to Epcot this last time. And if anybody watches, this is on YouTube. We have a sister channel, An Unexpected Journey, the Geographic Gypsy, and I do drink reviews. I will pick up stuff and just drink it like Tommy Dreamer in 2000. Just guy who drinks weird. You remember that when he walked around like he'd take hot dogs from fans and just eat them? And
I would think more Sandman.
yeah.
Sandman would drink anything.
And so, anyway, that's what I do. I'll do a drink review, and I laugh at myself. I get a kick out of myself because I drink stuff, and in the moment, I'm like, oh well, this is it's like Dave Meltzer. You know, it's like, oh, this is a 5-star drink. No, that's a 4-star drink. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. But hey, whatever. It's all in good fun. It's entertainment. It gets to show you kind of where we are. It's half travel blog. Anyway, cheap plug for that. So yeah, we're good. So we've done all the parks except for Animal Kingdom. We're gonna go to Animal Kingdom, and then we looked at going to Epic Universe, and Epic Universe just looks so half-assed at the moment. Like it's not quite ready to be,
Hold on, I hear a child. You keep
we're
talking.
not quite ready for the main roster at Epic Universe. So we're gonna give it a break for a second, and there you go. But that's the big plan for the summer, and then we've got the Watermelon Thump here in Luling, and past that, question mark. Stars and Stripes Forever, folks. River City Wrestling from the Von Erich Ranch in fabulous Bernie, Texas. We should have some things to unravel,
Will this help you?
and tell you about coming up very, very soon as Pink and I nail down plans for that show coming up. It's going to be a hot, fun time at the Von Erich Ranch. And I'm seeing the hat come in right now, which means
Sisterdale, Texas.
it's time. It's time for a topic.
Sorry, wait. Mom duties. Hold on. Duty. There's a duty.
What have I got?
I like how you jumped to RCW when I got up.
I got it.
Anyways,
When the guest gets up and leaves, folks, I just got to start talking about stuff.
not guess. I might as well be co-host at this. You know,
But
I'm doing this.
But that is one thing that's coming up here in the summer. That is 4th of July weekend, and that is
Is everybody on vacation? Like all the shows on vacation? I've only seen Hybrid run last week.
Hybrid has run. The United show has run.
GCWA
no
ran
disrespect, putting it in
Friday.
quotes, is I don't know if it's technically a United show or if it's something different on behalf of United.
I think it was a benefit.
Yeah, it's a gray area, but I've heard that they're gonna run again, but they don't have a venue. I don't know. I just don't know.
I heard Hybrid overtook GCWA, the Gallivan School, or something.
I did see that.
Something
yes.
along the lines of Don Juan showing up. Who knew?
The Texas Treats, once again, at least they're doing it somewhere else, and they're not in my hair right now.
It makes sense though. A megalodon in Corpus.
At least it's closer. Yeah, there's water.
There's water. That's where you go swim with the sharks, literally.
All right.
Anywho, yeah, and then Loco Underground next Friday.
Represent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm representing the Temptations.
Good movie.
Good group. We saw them back in maybe something like that. Great show. It was them and the Four Tops.
Best known as the California Raisins in the 80s.
I forgot about the California Raisins for a second, but
Yes.
yes, you are right. Claymation was weird.
Yeah. And then it stuck with
Did
the
you-
commercials
so-
just stuck with you, right? Because like now I can't tell you any commercials on TV, but I can tell you all about the California Raisins.
Did you ever see, like, same guy that did the Raisins did Michael Jackson's Moonwalker? Did you ever see that?
Yes.
Talk about, like, yeah, that is pure nightmare fuel. But it did give us the Smooth Criminal video, and one of the, like, 2 films that Joe Pesci is in where he doesn't curse. So, all right, I've been handed topics from a hat. This is fun. This is like, whose line is it anyway? And that's kind of the story of this show anyway. Everything's made up and the questions don't matter. So, I like this. It's, who is your you want both of them? Okay. It says favorite local and national wrestler and what time period?
Local like Texas.
Yeah,
or
so
local San
okay,
Antonio?
local as in like, okay, just this state as far as indies go. Okay. And national, when you see, we have criteria. National, like TV national or just national?
Anyone
All right,
that made it.
I'm getting the shoulder shrug from the producer over
So we
here.
just stick to indie people, not people that really were on. Let's just do it all. Fuck it. We do it all here. We're good.
National, I'm being told, is big picture. That's anybody and everybody that we can pick from.
There's so many levels to this, though. It's like, who is this? This here, this male, female.
Well, and then it's like, what time period? It's like, I can't, and see, that's the thing, though. I can't
Okay, well, the difference between now and then, when I was a kid, you kind of got to pick a person and stick with them. Now there's so many. There's so many more people. But being from San Antonio at the time, it was Shawn Michaels. Like everybody loved Shawn Michaels. Nobody liked Bret Hart down here. Well, some people did, but nobody really did in Texas. That the whole time was crazy, you know? But it was the Shawn Michaels before the back injury era. That was confusing. Wrestling was confusing because you didn't have dirt sheets to know what was going on. You just know that there was an awful match between him and Stone Cold. And what was wrong with him the whole time? He looked like he couldn't walk, and then he's gonna go away for some time. Like, how many years? When are you coming back? What's going on? And then they would do Raw here, and he would appear or say hi, and they were like, "When are you gonna wrestle?" Like it was very confusing. I don't know.
But he was still wrestling here on like indie stuff
No, he
off and
was
on, right?
coaching. He was very much coaching TWA, which
Because
was the Texas Wrestling Alliance, the only TWA. Texas Wrestling Alliance that was Far West Rodeo, I believe. And it was real big. It was always on the radio, everything like that. That promotion, which started Bryan Danielson, Lance Cade, Arjingo Wallaby, and then, others.
because I know somebody actually shared this in some random group that I'm in, a match that was him in like 2000. He popped up and did something and then disappeared until he showed back up in like '02. Shawn Michaels, HBK.
Oh, he may have done something, but really wasn't supposed to be, because I know from 2000 is when the school started.
Okay.
And then he did a good couple years, and then they're every day. If you listen to Bryan Danielson talk, I only trust certain people to talk about that school, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
But if you listen to Bryan Danielson did a podcast with Stone Cold, and he literally laid out how training went there and who was there and who he trained with specifically. So, and how Shawn would get in the ring with them to show stuff, but then he'd be hurt the next day. So
Yeah.
there was when it comes to certain people and their memory of things, I very much believe that memory, on how things went.
There are several people that would like to give their opinion on the Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy and how things went there.
Right. But, whatever.
Boom, boom, Brandon Oliver being one of them. Shout out to the boss.
Favorite referee
We
was a
gotta,
referee for them.
we gotta kiss the bosses.
God, he was such a kid. Like, he looked like have you seen the photo of Brandon?
Yeah,
I mean, he's such a kid.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's when he looks like what's the bad guy from the Karate Kid with the ponytail, Silver?
See, okay. When you ask me about local, you're going to get me in trouble because I'm everyone's Thea. You know that, right? So, God.
It's a hard one. So like
There's a
local,
toss-up because there's the ones I've managed and I know them, I love them. Then there's favorite to watch. There's the ones that are always asking me questions and, love them. And then there's my actual Serena Calientita.
it's like asking me who my favorite local wrestler is, and it's like it's the same direction for me. Because I feel like any answer I give is going to be 100% the wrong answer. Anthony, I loved Anthony.
Right.
I still do. He's class act.
But just, I think joys to be around in a locker room sense. Maddie was fun, and I'm not
Yes.
talking because she's on TV. If you knew the stories, and I've told you some with Maddie, and it's like,
Yeah.
Dia Pink's going to share some Grizzled Vet stories. Oh God, girls, don't listen to that. Do the opposite, and and I'm there. Or then she's shooting her little video like, no further questions, no gracias, and things. And so she's just always like, her mind was just always going. Like, it was always something going on there with her. So
I love that, and because Maddie would walk by and we'd catch each other's eye and have some sort of random moment
Right.
and laugh
Well,
about
then-
something that we shouldn't, and then it's like, all right, we're gonna go back over.
And then, like, whenever Chase Owens was on our show, we had to do a bridge for him, like this, when they were walking through. So, like, bridge? She go, no bridge. Okay. So,
Yeah.
yes, bridge, no bridge. So, she was very kind of bringing me out of my shell in a time where I was very much in my shell, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
During that time. So she was a delight. So that was part. So that's just it. I have different things to different people. So Thea, very proud. And then, of course, there's Callie, who forgets my birthday. We've had that discussion. Then those are girls. Key vibes. I love key vibes. So then you have the boys, manage wise. I'll always have love for Jay Alexander. They will talk to you for hours if you let him.
It's tough, and in the grand scheme of things, like I haven't been around very long, so local wrestlers for me, like I will go. It's a toss up between Michael Strider. These are people from Missouri. Michael Strider and probably the Psycho Sandman. And those are two guys that, even when I was coming up and I wasn't necessarily training at that point, because Craig and I had gotten sideways, but I still would show up, still set up chairs, rings, whatever,
Mhm.
just because I was a super fan and, I got to get into the show for free. But I got to talk to those guys and they taught me a whole lot about a whole lot. And then, of course, Strider was the bad guy my entire childhood as far as indie wrestler guys go. And I called him every name under the sun. And then later on, he switched to face, and it was strange because, it's like, why are we cheering for Michael Strider?
Well, see,
Those two
them-
guys, I think, are my favorite. And we want to, what time period, the era for that? That goes back to, gosh,
I
early
taught it.
2000s to about 20. I moved here in 2013.
Well, I was getting
2012
to.
maybe was the last time I saw Strider in a match. And I
Well,
still see Psycho Sandman. He was a city police officer in my hometown. So I'd run into him every so often and be like, "There's Psycho Sandman."
so we're getting to different eras because I only said Jay, but it's not just Jay. It's like, first of all, no, because we did girls and I talked about other girls when I went to Lexi's and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I got into wrestling, I had to go see a show. It wasn't RCW. I went to go see a show for the training school that I went to at the time. And that's when I saw Don Juan for the first time. And that was about 2005. So there was at the time, like, you know what it was about Don Juan? It wasn't even the wrestling. He used to come out to Shake Your Culo by Johnny Z. It was so, and I hate this word, I hear it all the time. It's so iconic, but it was the treats. In fact, when the treats returned to whatever music they have now, I gave them a bunch of shit. I was like, what is that? Where's Shake Your Culo? And they're like, we're adults now, Pink. We're adults now. We don't shake your culo. I go,
Yeah.
really? We're
in our
adults.
late 40s. We can't shake our culos anymore.
Right. And so like, wait, what? So no, we don't shake our culo anymore. Like, come on, I mean,
We're married and my wife's on the show.
that disappointed me as a fan because I was a fan of that. Because I was like, oh, that's so cool, because it is a big thing to connect your music to the audience and something they can relate to. Like, okay, let's get it going. And, Don Juan's bad dancing. And then, yeah, but it's still Shake Your Culo, right? Then, let's see.
Think about the ordeal you and I have had in the last couple of months just trying to find a song.
Well, because you don't listen to me, but that's different. Then we go in there, going in to, is it local though? When I was training, to see Lance Cade and like Bryan Danielson in person, Lance Cade in a training ring and even learning things, it was just like, those were amazing things. Like when you just saw how easily they moved, no wasted motion and things like that, it's just like, but so that would be probably like an era there from 2006 to 2009-ish. Those favorite to watch. Oh yeah, favorite to watch. Homicide is very good to watch. That was crazy. We can get into that other thing later about the TNA match we were talking about.
Yeah, we'll do a watch along at some point.
We'll do that. But it's just because of the way that the people work. There's a certain way they work. There's their footwork. And it's something about footwork that is very major to the way of when you say which one. If you want to say now, like I say, I like Jay, but it's usually a lot of the guys that Booker trained. And then, but if we're going local, then favorite, Casey is one of my favorites. I've seen that kid progress from like two different eye colors. He used to have two different eye colors to be managed by you. And then, you didn't ruin him, thank God. And then now he's just, taken off.
Fixed his eye.
And then, but right now, we all know, everyone knows Thea's favorite of Reno right now is always Gino. Gino came back from something very difficult. That
so good.
too, but just Gino's movement is very smooth. His footwork, his everything, like nothing he does is wasted. I would never want to get into a chopping fest with him. I've seen that enough. That's no, never. Please never chop Thea. I will die. But it was just more too, it was a respect thing, right? When I would show up, and I mean, I am down in the dumps. I'm depressed. There's all these things going on at the time. And all these people that I've mentioned were always polite and kind. And then would come and be like, what did you think of my match? And I'm like, okay, I got you, because that wasn't something, that wasn't something normal that would always happen. So the respect that comes out of me even to this day, how are you doing? What's going on? How was your match? How was this? So it's not just like stupid Pink. She doesn't know what she's talking about. that which was the norm for quite some time. But it's hard to say favorite. It's just like they're just people that I root for, that I would root for. And there's more, and please don't take everything personal what I say. I just appreciate the kids that come and talk to me, and we have a good rapport back and forth, and then the ones I'm related to.
All right. I was handed this one.
I want to see the hand. I don't see the hand.
Who is the most realistic romantic wrestling couple in wrestling history and the strangest, most unbelievable couple?
I'll tell you who the one I never believed, and I'm not talking shit because she was my friend, but the whole China Triple H, I never believed it. Like, I was kind of...
Yeah, right?
Well, because I always felt like that was one-sided, but I don't really want to talk about it because...
Well, that's getting into like a personal thing. I think this is more just on the surface, like television.
Well, was it? Well, but I thought it's confusing.
I know. It's
what it is. Okay, I used to read
too many lines,
and I would read the books too. So then you're like, wait a minute. Oh, they were together. Okay, but realistic. I think the most realistic couple was always Macho Man and Elizabeth, right?
Yeah, I mean,
like I don't think anything topped
legit.
that. Like, you were mad at Ric Flair when you were on Entertainment Tonight showing them photos. No. And then it was funny because by the time they showed Randy Savage's photos, you were like, I don't know, the Ric Flair photos look more realistic. Just saying.
Woman, oh woman, won't you marry me now?
How many?
I don't know. Like the strangest, most unbelievable couple. No,
I think
I
we're
don't like that one either. That one. We go with China. Mick Foley had a weird thing with China off and on.
You know what? The China Eddie Guerrero was kind of weird too.
But I believed that.
I
believed they could be some sort of weird couple. Mark Henry and Mae Young.
That wasn't weird.
Giving birth to the hand. Mark Henry and, like, Terry Runnels. I didn't believe that. I thought that was crap too. It was Terry Runnels. Where she was pregnant and she fell off the steps or whatever it was.
I tuned out.
That was Attitude Era. That was like 97, 98, something like that. I didn't believe that one. Goldust and anybody.
Goldust and Marlene I liked.
Well, they were a real couple at the time. But yeah, they worked.
Let's see what we got.
What? What is AL? What is that?
AI?
Okay, this is an Angela-themed question.
Dear. Who's Angela?
This is so funny. It says, is Angela named after Dame Angela Lansbury? And what is the best Angela Lansbury film?
Murder, She Wrote. Well, Beauty and the Beast, right?
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, maybe.
No, my parents didn't. I don't know what the fuck they named me after. They didn't even try. They were like Marie. They just stuck the Marie in there, just like everyone else in the 80s.
Right?
God, man.
That's actually funny because I know several girls off the top of my head that were born in that same period, and their middle names are all Marie.
Like, we're not trying.
I don't know. So one of my favorite Angela Lansbury roles is she plays Elvis's mom in Blue Hawaii.
Oh, she does?
Yeah, and she does everything with this southern accent the whole time. My boy, he's my boy. And I think that's hilarious. But yeah, no, I'm a fan of Beauty and the Beast. Again, Disney guy here.
Mrs. Potts, yeah.
And any excuse to be, to do Mrs. Tale as old as time.
I grew up on Murder, She Wrote, though.
Oh, yeah.
You heard the little piano going, Grandma's watching Murder, She Wrote, kids. Leave her alone. And she always figured it out.
And a lot of people know Tom Bosley from like Happy Days. No, I know him from Murder, She Wrote. And David the Gnome, if we want to get technical. Tom Bosley was...
Was he also Mary Tyler Moore?
He was... No. Tom Bosley was the sheriff.
Hold on.
Whose name escapes me.
I'm looking it up. Are you sure?
Amos. Yeah. His name was Amos Topper, right? Amos Topper?
Yeah, he's on Beauty and the Beast as well as Maurice. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
He died from a staph infection?
I don't know. I have no idea.
No, I'm reading it on Wikipedia.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Some of us almost died from a staph infection multiple times, if we want to be technical, even recently. Oh, yeah, he was Father Dowling. I remember that.
Yes, Father Dowling Mysteries with the bicycle. And then David the Gnome was another big one with Tom Bosley. Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Yeah. Okay. That's a lot of stuff. I already know
the answer.
I was thinking Ed Asner.
Ed Asner, yeah,
Wes and
from
Mary Tyler Moore.
he was the old
Hold
man
up.
in Up.
Children, hold up. Why are you up? Hold on.
He was also Santa Claus in the Elf movie.
Yes. Oh, he was? Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on. Yes, sir.
Santa. I know
Okay, but I
him.
can't do anything right now till the morning.
So once again, while
I
Hank
don't
wrangles
know.
her children,
You gotta take medicine. You
I
want
will
medicine?
remind you that River City Wrestling presents Stars and Stripes Forever. Ho! Tough guy.
Nicholas.
Emanating from the Von Erich Ranch in fabulous Boerne, Texas.
Oh, it's you.
If you don't know where the Von Erich Ranch is, you can Google that all day. The
Sister Dale.
Ironwood Barn in fact, actually Sisterdale. It's not even Boerne. But I think tickets are basically sold out, probably standing room only. So yeah, we'll shill the pay-per-view. So, all right, and I already know the answer to this. It says your favorite wrestling t-shirt ever owned, and of course, it's the one she has of me with my face blacked out on it. Because who doesn't love a Logan Pettis t-shirt? By the way, they are on sale right now. ProWrestlingTees.com/Logan Pettis. I believe it's 20% off because we're having a Memorial Day blowout. You can also purchase RCW shirts there, as well as Uncle Wiggley's gear on my page. So, no, but for real, what is your favorite wrestling t-shirt that you've ever
I owned the Evolution shirt.
With the yellow,
with the gold, it looked at the front of a car.
Yeah.
Made, and paid. Or is it backwards? That one.
I remember, yeah. My favorite shirt that I had, and I had two of them at about the same time. I got into the Big Show in about like the 8th grade or so, whenever he came out as 99, so 7th grade. And because, like, if anybody's seen me now, I have not grown since like middle school. Like, I am the exact same size I was. No shit. The exact same size that I was. I can put on a shirt that I wore in middle school. And so I think that's why I related to him, because he was always bigger than everybody. And the shirt was the red logo with him reaching up for the world and said, living large and in charge. And so, yeah, you stick me next to your average 8th grader now, and yeah, I'm massive. Rest in peace, Sal Acosta. Massive, the wrestler. You never knew Massive?
I knew him from ACW.
It just popped into my head when I said Massive. But I had that one, and then I had one that had a list of all of Mick Foley's injuries on the front of it. And it said hoax, fake, fraud, and all this stamped across it. And on the back of it was Foley with the Mankind mask. It was in the shape of the Mankind mask, and it said Mick Foley, fake wrestler. And I wore that shirt every year. I had an NWO shirt.
I had a Stone Cold Smoking Skull shirt. Everyone did. And the shirt I wanted but was elusive was the Randy Orton Legend Killer shirt. The original one with the check boxes. You know, he killed Mae Young also. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. That was a good era. I liked the Legend Killer.
I think I have some. Hold on. Chihuahua. It's around here somewhere. Give me a second. Of course, now that I need things, I cannot find them. Crap. Yeah, I just had it yesterday. Maybe not.
So, funny story was she's digging for stuff about like wrestling t-shirts. So she mentioned the NWO shirt. So my mom would never let me buy an NWO shirt because it said New World Order on it. And she's big into like Bible prophecy and stuff. And she was like, we ain't perpetuating that in this house. So to make up for it, we went to the local Christian bookstore, and there was a company called Caruso. I think they still exist, that made Christian versions of wrestling t-shirts. And like wrestling was at its peak at this point, like 99, 2000. So I had a shirt that was the NWO Wolfpack thing, and it said NWC, nothing without Christ. And then on the back, I think it was Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me, or something like that. It was a Bible verse. And then I had one that was John 3:16 instead of Austin 3:16. And on the back, I remember it said, heaven, yeah, hell no. And yeah, because my mother would have absolutely none of it. But I got to buy the DX shirt. The one that, you know, had the suck it on the back with the asterisk instead of the O. And I convinced her that it meant socket. And I said, you know, like, and we were fine with that, even though, you know, I constantly walked around, as all 8th graders at the time did.
8th grade boys.
So I grew up in a little hood rat town. I don't know if you watched like the last episode of this show when Heather came on and she said, what's the most St. Joseph hood rat thing you've done lately? And I'm like, yeah, no, like the girls walked around all the time too. It was great. Fun times. We have, what is a dream tag team? I love this question because I already have one in my head. What is a dream tag team from the 90s that never happened? And so right now there's a meme going around and they're trying to convince you this was a real tag team. It's AI. And I forgot even now what the name of the tag team is, but it was Stone Cold and HBK together.
They did tag.
No, like this was
They
they
tagged here in
set
San
them up as a
Antonio.
legitimate thing with a real name and a shtick that they would do. They had a whole gimmick, and I wish I knew what the meme was. I could look it up, but I mean, no, like they set it up like it was a real thing that only happened on dark matches or something like that. I was like, yeah, get out of here. If the AI would have been better, it would almost be believable, but their AI is awful. It's Austin and Michaels in the wrong era completely. Because it's like, you remember that brief time right after the Rockers that HBK and Stone Cold teamed up, but they weren't HBK and Stone Cold? Yeah, that's how they set it up, and it's really.
I would say tag team wise, I was more um I was upset that the Hollywood Blondes didn't go further. I really liked them. It was because we'd always watch WCW when I lived in Corpus. At the time, we would show up at random times, but Corpus always had TBS, so we got to watch a lot of WCW. But like, I really liked the Hollywood Blondes. They were so good. That's why whenever I saw Stone Cold WWE, I was like, "Why is Stunning Steve over there? What is this Page Master thing? What is that?" You know?
The
I was
ringmaster,
yeah, I was confused.
the $1 million
But
champion.
I was a good, big fan of Brian Pillman, and then I was like, well, why are they making him crazy? Then just yeah, the circumstances
You
of this
talk about, yeah, you talk about things. I mean, it's not a dream tag team, but something that I wish would have come to fruition. I would have loved to have seen the Brian Pillman thing. If Bischoff is to be believed, I would have loved to have seen that whole thing come full circle like it was supposed to. Where Bischoff lets him leave WCW and he just plays the same character through every promotion and then comes back around just to see what they would have done with it.
I just didn't. I guess I didn't like the way what they were doing with him, and then he ended up passing away. Remember?
Yeah.
Just yeah. It was, I think that I know they were a team. It was disappointing because they were two of my favorite for a long time, and then it wasn't the same in different places. Yeah.
So, if you have a mullet and you get a perm, think like Howie Mandel in the 80s. Is your hairdo called a merm? No?
You might be a West Texas redneck.
So, folks, Kendall and Barry Windham, Bobby Duncombe Jr., and the ringleader, the leader of the pack, Kurt Hennig, they are the members of the West Texas Rednecks, and they have a country song called Rap is Crap.
That used to be the way in. You had to go to West Texas State, play football, and then Joe Blanchard would pick you up here in town, and then let you work out. And that's how he broke in a lot of the wrestlers. And he came through Joe Blanchard too. Not as a trainer, he was trained with Terry Funk, but I'm just saying that he came in through there. A lot of them, that's where that West Texas thing come from. The Wyndhams, of course, you know.
What is
Well, what did I know?
the max amount of money spent on wrestling gear / memorabilia? One item,
Oh no, my shit was always sponsored.
right?
We don't pay it. We got a sponsor.
I'm about to say, I've got
Even
some
back in
pretty
the day, like
expensive
you would, when
suits.
you, especially Mexico, like so many people wanted to pay for your stuff when you're American.
I've got like a $400 suit that I bought just for a wrestling show, the one with the horses all over it. And then they actually they took the price down for me because it was a very expensive suit, but they took the price down for me. Talk about sponsorship. Only if I promise to plug their deal. They are called Garth Clothing, and they are located at Traders Village there in San Antonio.
That outfit, I remember
Yes.
that. Dear God.
So cheap plug there for Garth.
So I guess my most expensive is what, my $5 pair of leather pants that offend everybody.
Your leather pants. So she said memorabilia item.
Wow, let's not talk about title belts purchased.
Maybe, I don't know. I bought the entire country of the UK one time to help me win an election. I don't know. Most expensive piece of wrestling memorabilia. I mean, it's probably title belt related. I don't know though. I've got some, yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I see the producer now is over here frantically writing down more questions to ask. What do you got? You wagered V and sorry. If these wrestlers were a dog, what kind of dog would they be? We'll start with Gold Dust. What kind of dog would you say that Gold Dust is?
I only know like 3 kinds of dogs.
Huh?
Like 3 kinds of dogs. Mexican. We either know pit bulls, chihuahuas, or dachshunds, right? Maybe a husky.
I just want to say she said that, not me.
I can say it. I can say it.
She. So speaking of she can say it, all right, this is a completely unrelated deal. I see this video now that's flying around, I guess last night at a certain wrestling promotion. Some guy called somebody an N-word, and then the guy jumps out of the ring, and the wrestler's name is DeMarcus.
Marcus, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Some guy walked to the edge of the thing, and he looks like a gentleman of color. And yeah, he spits on him, and then this fool gets out of the ring and like slugs it. What the hell was that?
You spit on a wrestler?
I don't know who spit on who, and I haven't seen the actual video of the spitting. What I did see is, okay, do you remember, shout out Rod Bradley? You remember Rod? Used to come to wrestling shows with his belt. Okay.
I saw next to him before, yeah.
Right, yeah, and he hangs out. He lives in another state now, but he used to hang out with Tommy. And it's nothing for Rod to get wound up, and he'd walk to the edge of the thing, and he'd get in your face, and he'd be like, Pink, you suck, you know, whatever, your leather pants pissed me off. And, you know, it's nothing for a wrestler to turn around and be like, oh, yeah, well, why don't you bring it in here? Come on. So this is one of those cheap indie outlaw mud shows that doesn't have guardrails. And not like RCW with the finest guardrails in the business. So he walks up to the edge of the ring.
Well, let's not talk about that. Pillars. Go ahead.
And no, so he walks to the edge of the ring, and he's Jack John with this guy, DeMarcus. I don't know this person. I think
you did. I think we did work with him once on a show. I think he was there once before.
Over in Lockhart at the...
Or I think he worked the one over in Waxahachie.
Ooh.
Ring a bell?
Ooh. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so, all right, whatever. I know he's... Because Rudy Boy mentioned that he's worked with this guy. Yeah. And because I read it earlier, and he made the post, and I thought it said I've had Democrats on my show and had to like cross my fingers, and I was like, what? No, it said DeMarcus. But anyway, so this guy's in the ring, and he's fighting with this dude in the corner, and then this guy comes up to the edge of the ring, and he's like, hey, you know, I guess he called him the N-word, and supposedly he got spit on at some point. I don't know who did the spitting, but somebody got spat upon.
Okay.
And DeMarcus takes his shirt off and throws it at this guy. And then this guy takes the shirt, wads it up, and throws it back at him. And more names are called. And so at this point, DeMarcus gets mad, walks out of the ring, grabs the fan by his shirt, takes him over to the corner, and punches him. And so this has been the news story, who is right and who is wrong in this whole deal. And I am apt to agree. Again, Mr. Gonzalez said, if you punch that fan and he doesn't go down, you're fired. And yeah, that's what you see. You see him hit this guy twice in the jaw, and this guy just kind of no-sells, and he's like, but they said that Anthony Garza, RCW referee extraordinaire, he was at this show, and that's how I learned about this, and I've been trying to gather up as much information before I actually talk about it, but, you know, let's talk about it. But he said that this fan had been talked to by the promoter beforehand, and they took him out, but they allowed him to come back in.
Which would be promoter discretion.
Right. So, yeah, it's like, who's in the wrong in this deal? And it's like, well, in this instance, I mean, if you're outside of the ring, I don't know who spit on who. I need to find this out.
But see, the thing is, like, let's not talk wrestling. You go to the NBA, I've seen it. They even have a little disclosure, using foul language, and if they catch you like that, they will throw you out and ban you. So, yeah, because it's just not the place or the time, I guess. So I don't know. Okay.
He was, and then it's like he was taken out, but he was allowed back in. The promoter should have got up and escorted him out when he saw things were getting crazy, going the other direction. This wrestler, this guy, I'm going off of, I assume his name is DeMarcus because that's what I've seen on the thing. I don't know this man. I'm not looking for death threats or anything. Don't freaking get mad at me, guy. I'm just going off of what I see on social media. Chill out. Wrestlers. So,
well, don't you remember we were at a bar show once? Do you remember this? We were at a bar show, and it was the finish of a match.
Yes.
Main event. Okay. And then a fan who got super, because a referee got knocked down, of course. And then nobody was counting the pinfall. So this fan got in and was just decided to count.
He had
And
had a
then
little too much to drink.
didn't matter. He
Yeah,
got in the
no, I'm
ring.
just saying
Okay.
I'm
So
setting up.
then we got yelled at that nobody did anything to this fan because old school rules would state take care of the fan in the ring.
Yeah.
Because he could have killed somebody when he was literally just a drunk friend of one of the people in the match.
So
that was a topic of conversation at the time too, because old school rules here, but we also don't follow old school rules for other things anymore because it's outdated.
but
So
nobody wants to get sued.
right, well, and that's the thing. Okay, so there's a place. As a fan and how you act. But there's also a place as a wrestler and how you act. And at some point, do you know how much shit people have said to me through the years? I don't give
Oh
a
yeah.
fuck. You know what I mean? Like, say whatever you say. God darn it. There was a certain person that would always, when I wasn't fat, working for RCW and I was Queen of Texas shit, and they were calling me fat and my ass was hanging out of my pants. Now look at all the girls now, right? Whatever. But she would talk so much shit. Now she doesn't say anything to me when she sees me. Because it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, if I let that get to me then, it would have caused so much shit. It would have caused so much shit. And I just let her, like, my favorite part was pretending she didn't exist. She still doesn't. You get my
And
point?
that was
I'm only mentioning it because it's like, I'm the first person to lose my temper. You already know. If old Pink come through, God help you. But I don't know. I don't have the right answer.
and that was
But
what was brought up in this instance. It's like, dude, I assume he was working heel, I guess. Again, I wasn't there. But it's like, okay, you're a wrestler, you should be able to control yourself if people are shouting terrible things at
but
you.
if he was spat on, that is
If he
assault.
was spat on, yes, that is assault, and that is a whole different deal. But I've never
Right.
seen
So I don't
an
know. I don't know.
instance of this video where this guy spits on this guy. All you see is this dude get angry, and finally he has enough and comes out of the ropes. And I think the same rules should apply for the fans that apply for the wrestlers. If you, and we'll talk about that bar thing here in a second, but if you cross that line and you get in the ring, yeah, by all means, I have the right to protect myself and I will whoop your ass. All right. Same goes though. The fans have that, again, this is why guardrails are important, kids, but that barrier right there, you shouldn't be accosted by some wrestler for no reason. Even if you are out there screaming and yelling, that's literally what you kind of
But
pay
you
a
run on the
ticket for.
baseball field, what do? They tackle your ass. You run on the
Right.
football field, what do? They tackle
I
your
mean,
ass.
and that's barring again instances like I've seen this brought up. What about the time CM Punk elbowed the guy in the face or whatever it was, or recently Alberto El Patron going into the thing and beating the guy up with the chair or whatever it was he did. They got him kicked out of Tijuana for however long. I mean, those people instigated this first, and it wasn't just, oh, we're yelling, hey, Pink, you suck. It was, we're getting physical at this point. So, and then, yeah, back to the bar thing. So I can tell that story as somebody who was standing right there on ringside. I watched this guy. I knew this guy was fixing to jump in the ring. And at the time, I was managing this big 7-foot tall, 500-pound kid. And he goes, do we do something? I said, no, stay here. And I'm assessing this situation. I got to make sure this guy doesn't have a knife, doesn't have a gun. And I'm going through this. I've been trained as a security officer. Not saying that I'm like a cop, but I'm observant. I'm looking. I'm like, this guy's just a drunk. And then there are two trained wrestlers over on that side standing there next to him. It was some tag team of guys that we had at the time. And I was like, they can handle this. All they have to do is reach in and pull him out. We don't have to stomp on his head and try and kill him, which is what the booker, promoter, whatever you want to call him, wanted us to do. We're not going to name his name, but you get the idea from that. If you know, you know. And he, well,
One
you
of the
should have jumped in
Guerreros?
there and you should have killed this guy and you should have blah, 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 blah. And I was like, he's just a drunk idiot. It's fine. But no, in those instances, again, I mean, I get it. Yeah, okay, defend yourself. But
I don't know. I don't know. The thing is, and then it's a lot of internet chatter right now, and I'm all
well,
about
there's
scrolling past it right now. honestly.
Right. There's all sorts of, there's that going on, and there's the deal with some promoter that did something, and I'm not getting involved.
Well,
But that's the news story for the day. So yeah, other than that, what else we got? We got anything else we need to just jump on? What do you got, Pink? What's coming up?
what?
What do
Shit, I don't know.
you
Where
got any,
are
you don't
we
have
in May?
anything huh?
We're in May, right?
We're in May. Coming up on June. This is the last week of May.
I think everything just depends on Friday for me, you know? Like, how's my summer gonna go? Is it gonna go good or bad? Looking like it's gonna go good, but we never like to jump to conclusions on that, you know?
Right on.
This attorney better be worth it, I'll tell you that, you know?
But yeah, other than that, we got RCW, we got Stars and Stripes Forever coming up that we're both putting together. We'll see what happens there. Will there be retribution? Will the Pillars get their hands on the Von Erichs? Kevin Von Erich cheated. I'm still waiting for at least a nice apology from Mr. Von Erich.
RCW Mania felt so long ago. I'm trying to remember.
Well, I'm thinking about the Von Erich show. Last time that we went out to Bernie, out to the Von Erich Ranch, and Kevin Von Erich, he was swung out and he reacted again. It's just like this fan. I mean,
But he's not a fan.
no, he's not a fan. He still, I don't believe, should have been standing at ringside either. He wasn't supposed to be involved. He wasn't supposed to be involved in the match. I don't
He
care
owns
if
the place.
in his backyard or not.
Hey,
In a sanctioned match, he has no place.
is it sanctioned though? It's the Pillars.
Sit down. It's as sanctioned as the Pillars can get.
Did you do any work on that show? Because you went on vacation.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I helped put things together, and then, I had, like, more important things to do. Stuff to take care of, jet setting.
Yeah, everyone, it was like a free-for-all. We had Living in
People don't
Fashion
understand.
attacking Angel
People don't understand.
Camacho. And
Any moment
yeah,
that you don't...
your inmates ran the asylum over
Any
there.
moment, it's rough. Any moment, you guys remember, like, before I was the general manager of RCW, I was managing things, I was doing other projects. Anytime you don't actually see me presently, I'm usually doing something else super important.
Like singing.
I just came back from Michigan where I was hanging out. Shout out to the Sterling Group right now with
You brought singing back into my life.
with Larry, who's the CEO of the Sterling Group.
Edelweiss, every morning you greet me. Fucking Sound of Music.
We've started singing Sound of Music now.
That's how we close it now.
Which means we're out of time, folks.
Captain Montrap.
Christopher Plummer.
Favorite. Everything. You know, a movie I saw, he was really, really good. And it was so sad to find out how it was. The movie where he has dementia or Alzheimer's, and he's looking for the Nazis and trying to find out he is the Nazi he's looking for.
Yes.
Forgot the name, but it was one of the more closer to his death ones. I was so disappointed in you. All those years you fought the Nazis on The Sound of Music. I even said that too in the movie. I go, what if he's a Nazi and he doesn't remember? And he doesn't. Oh, what was that movie called?
I don't remember.
Christopher Plummer.
I know what you're talking about.
Movies and shows. Remember. It's called Remember.
Is it just called Remember?
It's called Remember. From 2015, yeah. Man.
I'd actually forgotten that Christopher Plummer had passed away.
I did like him in Dracula 2000 as well, where he was injecting the leeches. Did you ever see the Dracula 2000?
2021, okay. Yes. I had to look at Christopher Plummer and see when he died, but yeah, 2021.
Recently.
A couple years. Is he one of those that got the COVID? Did he get the...
No, I think it was the old age.
It's either the Rona or the old age. One of them are going to kill you.
Well, let's not get started on the coronavirus stuff.
No, it doesn't say firsthand, and I'm not going to read it. So, there you have it, folks. That's the show. That's right.
What did you do on your summer vacation show? We haven't started yet. We're just getting started.
What, the summer vacation?
Yeah, the kids are still in school till like Wednesday. And then camp doesn't start till the 9th, so we have a little break in here where they're home.
Here in town, the kids are out of school. Yeah, they graduated last Friday. Actually, they graduated, and then the other kids had to go to school for a whole nother week. Actually, that happened when I was in high school. I remember this. because we went through a weird phase where I was like, I got used to seeing, there was a guy that I went to school with named Nate Taylor, and Nate would always stand over in the corner. Then later on, it was Nate and his girlfriend standing over in the corner, and like they were just gone for a solid week, and I got so used to seeing them all the time. Is that real or is that AI? I'm being shown a picture of Arizona Swedish Fish iced tea. Shout out to Arizona Tea. Sponsor me.
They have a hard tea now. Like now
So
they're
that
getting into
way,
the
that way the
alcohol
7
game.
people that watch this show will drink your tea, but I
We have
promise
7? There's 7?
we've upgraded yet. So, summer vacation. That's what we got. She's sending the kids off to camp and working, and I'm going to do what I do and jet set around the world.
I have plans. I'm just not disclosing them here because
Are you gonna like
know.
wrestle? Are you gonna like work some
well, no, I haven't decided. Not even really that.
do
I'm
some
finally
stuff?
where I need to be to go back to train.
Aren't you like a GM somewhere?
Where loco?
Yeah, aren't don't you-
Sometimes, and apparently I'm Texas legend. But no, well, here's the funny thing about that. When I got my new iPhone, nothing transferred, and I was a tech. It's whatever, it just wouldn't. So I had to put everything back on my phone from scratch.
nice.
And it was funny. The promoter had lost my info as well because same thing. We just talked today actually, so I was like, oh yeah, it wasn't on purpose. It's just fucking technology. You rely on it, so when it fails, you know, like I'm missing emails, things and that, because I used to have everything in here, and I could see all 7 email accounts. Don't judge me. I just don't give everyone the right email, but I could differentiate. These go here. These go here. These go here. And like,
I couldn't handle 7 email accounts. I can't handle the 2 Facebook pages that I have.
because the thing is, you used to get spammed to one. One's for spam, one's for
Yes.
wrestling, one's for important things like resumes, so people don't see that you're,
I have one.
sliding on a poll 210 email or whatever the fuck you come up with. Just make up some shit. But it's like you got a professional one, and you got your iCloud one that they force you to make, and I got a bunch of iClouds, so yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I've got a whole nother one that I had to have when I set up my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Because so I worked for a company and I had my own phone. They provided me with a company phone. And then when that was over, I'd set up my company phone with that email, and so it all wanted to sync over when I did the thing, and so I had to create my own deal. And
Yeah.
so that's where I send a bunch of my spam.
Yeah, so there was a thing with that. Well, the funny thing is that shows the same day as my court thing. And it's civil, it's not criminal, please, before we start the rumors, assholes. But so everything just kind of depends on what happens that day.
And that will set future plans in motion.
Well, yeah, I have time coming up. I do have some time, so I'm going to take the advantage of most of it. Because the thing is, like, right, you get out of shape, whatever your excuse is. That didn't happen overnight. So you don't get back to it overnight. It's not an overnight thing. And I did try that a little while back, and my body felt like shit. Because also it was like 100 pounds heavier. Doing things that I did when I was like young and light and whatever didn't feel good, So, you had to assess. I still had injuries, and things like that, like things I don't talk about. Too, a lot of times all you got to do is ask, and I'll tell you, but nobody asks. So you're asking right now, so I'm telling you right now. So that's the thing. So I have had discussions with the people that I need to about what I need to do, and now as far as past that, I don't know. I just want to see what I can do in regard to training, because that was something I did every single day for years.
Mm-hmm.
I've always found a place to train, and I did it all the time. And so, yeah, that's all. It really, everything just depends on how I feel, not how anyone else feels but myself. And for me, I don't know. Well, we'll see how we'll have to check in later this summer, see how everything's going.
Right. Bad as I am playing it by ear. That's all I know. I know we're gonna sing some, and then I'm going to keep general managing. keep the RCW men's division train rolling right along for as long as I can let that train roll right along if I can just get the Texas treats out of my way.
Who are back in full force. Welcome back, Donwa. Cancer-free. That is very good news. Regardless of how you feel, that is very good news.
It is good news.
What a scary thing. Scary.
Now I can stop worrying about that and start again worrying about the destruction of the Texas treats.
I was hoping you feel bad about the baby shark thing.
I don't feel bad about the baby shark. He calls himself the Megalodon. He is a baby shark in my book. Baby shark doo 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 doo. Baby shark doo 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 doo. Baby shark doo 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 doo. Baby shark.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, then what we'll do is we'll check in before Stars and Stripes Forever and see how our
Stars
June
and
is
stripes forever and
because
see
there's a
where
lot
we...
of things happening before then, so we'll check in about a month.
We've
see
got
what
a
we're on.
whole month to do some stuff and
Yep.
do some moving and shaking, and we'll have to, you and I have got to sit down in the office and come up with a show.
Yes, we will.
But yes, the Von Erichs will be there. Things will happen. It's in their backyard. I hope they'll be there. If they're not there, that'll things real awkward, actually. But
We'll
that's the
digress
plan
once
for
things start
now.
getting announced. Just don't start giving false hope to anything right now.
I'm promising the Von Erichs, and then it's like, no, they're busy this week. I'm like, it's at your house.
I have finished my homework. As you know, every Sunday I procrastinate on my homework. So you see on show days my post, I gotta get to my homework.
So
I
do
will
some
sign
homework.
off.
That's Pink. I'm Logan, and we will see y'all when we see y'all.
In about a
Have
month.
a wonderful time.
Carolina Teague tomorrow. I put leave. Still